Union Station is a National Historic Site. It was extremely important to the City of Toronto that this impressive building, this gateway to the city, be preserved, be enhanced, but also to make sure that the facility would be up to modern standards as a transportation hub.
The objectives that we worked on with Union Station were primarily three. Firstly, the renovation and restoration of the Beaux-Arts building, which basically had not been upgraded for almost 60 years. The second part of that was to enhance and project the passenger flow, which had to be increased from 60 million to 130 million passengers per year. And the third objective was to turn Union Station into a destination.
The way that we made this a destination was to think about the people who would be using the building, how they would function within the building, for what period of time, because it's Canada's busiest commuter station.
We looked at the models like New York Central Station. How did they turn what was really just a transportation node into an actual destination in its own right? There's a huge amount of population that flows through here. So if we can create something that actually is a place where people want to go.
We looked at a more dynamic and interesting mix of food vendors. We're able to create more of a memorable experience. And so the idea that we have a destination in Union Station is also reinforced through the food and the culture offerings that are here. We want people to be able to come back and try different things and have a different experience whenever they want to come back to the stations. We've got a much wider range and I think higher quality of offering in terms of food and beverage in the station, and it's there really to help ease the customer journey.
The station was from an era when the grandeur of arriving by train was pretty significant. It was a gateway into the city. And so the architectural quality of the original space was incredibly high. And that actual bar was one of the things that influenced us in developing all of the new spaces.
Union Station is one of the most important heritage buildings in Canada. Its presence in the city, its role in the development of the City of Toronto speak to that, as well as to the quality of its design and architecture. The building was built substantially during World War I, and it's one of the few buildings where construction did not halt during the war, which speaks to its significance and its role in the country.
We had modeled everything, and we worked very closely with NORR, trying to figure out every potential solution to Union Station. Do you build condos on it? Do you take down part of it? Do you rebuild it? What do you do? So there was no question that they could ask that we hadn't thought through. Why don't we just dig the whole thing down and go underground? Because we can't go up.
So in order to facilitate the enhanced GO concourses, retail areas, and pedestrian porosity that was required, the dig down was the approach that we decided. You're going to have all of these huge trains operating while you're doing all this construction below, cutting columns and columns hanging in the air. I mean, it was terrifying to go down into the dig down area and have a look at what was happening. There was a lot of, I would say, from the city point when we would explain, that this was the idea we were going, I think there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of study that went into it and understanding. I think the structural engineer can speak better to it.
Every challenge, fortunately, comes with an opportunity. And we took advantage of some of those opportunities. For example, rock was close, and so we were able to start supporting the structure on rock and digging underneath while ensuring that the movement of the supported structure remains within very tight tolerances. In today's world, we have so much computer power and so many simulation softwares that were able to basically tell us exactly what was going to happen in the many years ahead.
Because of the trains traveling overhead, bringing passengers, we implemented a monitoring system to make sure that any shifts in the columns or any shifts in construction were noted and were monitored closely. And we had a monitoring agency do that. But what we did throughout that process was any changes that had to be done, we either would meet with the contractor, sometimes on a daily basis, to either make alterations, introduce other value engineering methods if there was a problem in dealing with what was happening, if there was any movement.
So I have a picture of part of the construction of Union Station, which shows a column being supported in order to support the track slab and a void space halfway down from that column. And to me, that picture shows the ultimate in engineering.
The experience now of going from the subway into the station is so seamless, and it involves going through a space of grandeur. If you don't have the opportunity to go through the Great Hall, at least every day you're going through the moat, where you come out, you go under this beautiful vaulted space, you get to see the city around you before you're back in. Like, there were so many spaces in the building that we were able to touch and bring back to life, or create a new one that's to the same quality of the original.
I think it's incredible that after 97 years, the station still manages to serve as a rail hub, a major rail hub across Canada and in North America, and evolve to where we're performing as a first-class shopping mall destination. People come down here just for the events as well, and they love it. It's a civic space that I think is very beautiful and something that we need to really embrace.
The experience that people have today at Union Station is millions of miles apart from what it was before the revitalization. And I think it just comes from the fact that we were very careful in curating the types of users, the types of uses, the types of services that we were provided. And I think originally we probably thought 50 to 60% of the services in the station would be food related. We're probably up to 65 or 70. We've decided we'd move our program to address what the people want.